And we're live! Unlike last week where we had a doorbell opening the show, I'd like to welcome everybody to the latest episode, episode 55 of the Crafty Boys. And it would help if I had my... Thank you. And it would help if I actually had my microphone down here so that people can actually hear it. So we might be short of Locke this week. He is currently off and about doing whatever the hell he's doing, which is the rough translation of "I haven't heard from the guy," because he's quite busy.
He's playing Minecraft.
He's playing Minecraft today. But yeah, so essentially, so it's us three, and we again have failed completely miserably to find a beer that we could all access. We thought we had it down by getting something from the Bad Tattoo Brewery, who is a brewery over here on the mainland. And for some reason, everyone on the island has got lots. People here in the area where I live...
Not everybody on the island, apparently.
Well, yeah, because, you suck, Dave. So anyway, so this week we have got, at least I have got, the Bad Tattoo West Coast IPA, which I've never had before. Dave, what did you get in your massive failure of getting anything?
I don't know if I would classify this as a failure because the label on this thing is just awesome.
All right, let's hear it.
I got Space Goat.
Space Goat?
Phillips.
Space Goat. Is it goat or
Dig that.
Space Goat. Go.
Look at the label, man. It's a
that
Space Goat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was listening to you.
It is. Huh?
I was listening to you. I wasn't looking.
Yeah. Well, that's good. You don't want to look. So this is the dry hopped oat pale ale is what this is called. So I'm going to be interested to see what this thing tastes like, because it sounds pretty wild.
And cool. What did you get, Alan?
Well, I got. I've actually been wanting to try this, and I thought I'd wait for us to be able to do it on the Crafty Boys broadcast, which is why I kind of waited until now, and we found ourselves late, and we didn't have a beer selected, so I said, hey, let's try Bad Tattoo's the full sleeve. Bad Tattoo is from Penticton. So I think we've had beers from Penticton before, but we haven't had anything from Bad Tattoo. Now, they were at the Great Canadian Beer Festival this past year, and I do believe we tried this particular selection, but this is their full sleeve strong stout. You can see it depicts a woman who is very, very strong and very inked, and good for her. And she's winking at me, so this is a good thing. I mean, we're starting off strong. She's a looker, and she's winking at me, and she's got lots of tattoos. Definitely my kind of woman. So
wouldn't have pegged you for a tattoo man, Alan.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, whatever, right? Yeah. So I'm interested in trying this.
I see then.
I'm a little bit disappointed that you guys couldn't get it.
Yeah, I mean, hit 4 different stores today trying to find anything actually by.
You need to go in the stores, not just hit them.
Walk by and just punch the brick.
Nope, they don't have it.
They don't have it. I'm sorry, I can't find it now. So yeah, no. Unfortunately, it didn't really pan out because they actually only had. This was the last stop. This is the third stop, or sorry, the fourth stop today. Finding the West Coast IPA. So now, they at least had something.
You did find out some information about that maybe our timing is a bit off.
Yeah, I mean the big thing about the stouts is that the stouts are usually done in the fall because they take a bit longer to do or something. Anyway, the point is they are just not around right now in great numbers. You'll find a lot of breweries doing them as a seasonal in around Christmas time, that kind of thing. So I gather from what I was being told by the individuals at the Brewery Creek store, the Brewery Creek beer and wine store on Main Street in Vancouver, BC. Um, they mentioned that they haven't seen the stouts for a little while because they ran out and they can't get it right now because they're not making any. It's sort of IPA season and saisons or saison. Um,
Saison.
but they're sort of, I mean, right now they're really starting to brew the sort of summer things. So,
Mm.
after that run, in August or September is when they start to do the brews for the darker beers again. So, you're just lucky you somehow found the full sleeve, but they were like, full sleeve? Are you kidding? What do you know? So, yeah, there you go. So
I don't
anyway.
actually really get the whole stout as a seasonal type of thing. Like, I mean, you can get stouts year round. I mean, it's not a seasonal at all. Like, I think that guy that was talking to you is drunk.
He probably was, because, he had a full beard and he was kind of a hipster, so just
Yeah, he
saying.
probably just didn't know what he was talking about.
Um, so, so I struck out. So, which, again, is so strange that we can't seem to locate things. But again, I'm not a brewery
Well, okay.
master.
Before we start jumping into the beers here, I
Yeah.
want to say on our last show, Locke mentioned that, and I think he mentioned this while we were still on air, that he would like us to try something from Arrowhead Brewing from Invermere, and we looked
Yes.
at their selections, and they had like a lot of good like stuff that looked really really interesting and stuff I
Yeah.
would love to try. But guess what? I mean, none of it's available on Vancouver Island.
And I have found none here. But again, I was focusing on the stuff that we were talking about this week. But
So it seems
I
to
did
be
try and
more
find it, but it
available
was
in the
hard.
interior.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, what it really comes down to is there's only really so many uh, gallons of gas that you can buy to get you to the West Coast. So I guess they got to train that stuff to get it here for us to enjoy. um, just waiting for that to sink in,
They got to
and
train it. Yeah.
they're gonna
Okay,
train it.
Beers, go! Throw the ball,
Go
catch
Bears,
the ball.
go! Go Bears, go Bears, go, go, go! Yeah, so anyway, blah, 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 blah.
So who's gonna pour theirs first?
I think I haven't you Dave, have you opened yours? No, I don't know what this one's flying across the ground. Something fell off my desk.
I have now. I'll go.
All right.
Okay,
Okay,
so Dave has
so
got some from Phillips, which is located in Victoria.
Indeed.
Space
Oh, look at that.
Goat.
Look at that.
That's either a really good head or a really bad pour.
It's a bad pour.
At
okay,
least
this
you're
is a
honest
oh
about it.
jeez.
I do. Son of a bitch. That was a really bad
So
pour.
there's that's the West Coast IPA from
great.
Bad Tattoo.
That looks really good.
And this is
Is
a
it?
decent. That is a
Yes.
that is a good
Holy.
pour. That's the thing. That's a good pour. So that's a really nice head. And it was actually bigger before. But so what about yours now? Let's see.
Yeah, just pouring it now. So there is my Bad Tattoo full sleeve stout, which
That
I have to say
looks gorgeous.
looks tasty.
That looks amazing.
Yeah.
It looks green. Why does it look green?
Probably just lighting.
He's got the kitchen light and his screen lighting him up. So I don't know where my window went, dude. Dude, I had a window. Where did it go?
I think we might have lost Alan.
Alan? Uh-oh. Alan has frozen in time. Let
Well,
us
look at the
all say
thumbnails,
goodbye
so-
to our good friend, who was a nice man, completely a gentleman, never ever offensive to anybody. Someone that we found incredibly beautiful at one time until he lost his hair. I think
Oh,
his hair grew back and then ran away a third time, and he gave up shaving. See, I'm waiting for him to rejoin, right? I'm hoping he'll come back, but apparently
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is not going to happen. So, but anyway, so Dave,
We encourage
so
him
you've
to
got
join Hair Club for Men.
here's the hair club for men, and
Hair Club for Men.
which now you and I will both go
Work,
bald tomorrow.
work it, baby.
So, what do you
Well, I
think of your
am
beer? What
losing
do you think?
hair, but
What's your beer like?
well, I love the smell.
Yeah,
It's very, very citrus, like full on grapefruit, just slapping you in the face.
right.
It's really nice.
What have you got for your like a IBU rating? What's your international beer units?
Nice. You know what? The beer units are actually not listed on the bottle. They didn't bother, and it might be because
Oh, really?
it rates so low. It's not even worth bothering because it does. There's very little bitterness to this beer. It's actually kind of sweet.
Really? That's kind of cool,
Yeah.
actually, because you've
And
got.
hmm?
No, you were saying. Sorry, go ahead.
What was I saying? It's smooth too. It's really nice. It's nice drinking. I love it.
Oh, excuse me. I was about to
And
speak,
one
and
more.
then suddenly I was burping. But well, I mean, this one. I mean, this is a strong hop on this one. Like this is. I don't know what hop this is. I wonder if it actually tells me on the bottle. Um, the Brilliant Orange West Coast IPA is rich, weighty aromas of grapefruit and pine forest, crisp hop bite and lingering finish. 65 international beer units for this one. Um, does
Oh
not say
wow.
what the hop is, so which is unfortunate, but that's okay. It's really, really. I mean, that head is just
Yeah,
epic.
that's
I
a head
mean,
to be
how
reckoned
could
with.
how this
Yeah.
is like this head takes you home and beats you over the head. It's.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I wish that was a bad pour, but that's not. Um, I give it a thumbs up. I'm actually kind of impressed. I was not expecting a whole lot from the Bad Tattoo, mainly because I'd never had it before. It's something I haven't run into naturally here and there. And Alan
Yeah.
is back. Welcome
I'm
back.
back.
You
So what
what
happened
happened?
is my computer just spontaneously rebooted all on its own.
You know what happened? You scared it. You
Probably.
terrified it with that amazing head on your beer.
You know what? I think you're right. Let's hope I
It
don't
happened.
scare it again.
Don't scare it again. Don't hold it up to the camera. We were just talking about the beers and how
Yeah.
his has got Dave has got a very sort of citrusy kind of beer. This one is a strong, strong hop, so I don't know exactly what it is that is making it really kind of hoppy. I wish I knew what the
Mhm.
hop was, but it is heavy with hops, and I really like that, and I think Locke would love this one too. But I was just also saying that I have never had a Bad Tattoo, and I like this one a lot.
You
So
have had Bad Tattoo. We
oh, I
had it
have.
at Beer Fest.
Hmm.
And I'm pretty sure
Really? What did we have? Do we remember?
we had the full sleeve.
Okay. I don't think that I remember at all because I don't remember a whole lot from that particular event. It was a good event.
Understandable. It
Uh,
was
s
fun. That's all we remember.
yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
So,
what about you? I'm assuming you've had a moment to
oh
take a whiff of
yes,
your beer.
it's
What is
very
it?
good. It's very stouty. It's a stouty stout.
A stouty stout.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's very good. It's what you would expect from a stout. Um, there isn't really anything special about it that separates it from any other stout, but
Right.
it is a very good stout.
What is it like? Got a chocolatey kind of thing? Is it sort of a what's sort of the most interesting sort of flavor that you're getting?
Well, it's got a sweetness to it.
Yeah.
Um, I suppose if you trained yourself, you could convince yourself that it had a taste of chocolate in it, but I don't think it does. It just tastes like a typical stout.
Okay.
And fair enough. That's what it's advertised as,
What
right?
about the like the Belgian Strong we had last week, the Vow of Silence? How does it sort of compare to that one? Because that one was not really a stout; it was a Belgian Strong, but it's kind of stouty.
Not
Um,
really.
but well, to me it did. I mean, for how I kind of the flavor worked for me. But
Yeah.
I was just curious if it had any comparison at all of any sort at all. No, yes, no, maybe.
No, not at all. I think the Belgian Strong was a much different flavor than this.
Okay.
I would chalk this to be it's got a little bit more flavor than say a Herman's that
Okay.
from Vancouver Island Brewery.
Okay.
Although that's a dark Bavarian, so I guess yeah. I'm trying to think of another stout that we've had recently.
Excuse me.
The Sasquatch Stout from um, what is it? Old Yale.
Mhm.
It's probably comparable to this.
Okay. What about so Dave?
Mm.
Would you recommend this beer? Like, where does this beer fall in? Is this a party beer? Is this a quietly drink something at home type of beer? What kind of beer is it?
Mm. Wow. That's an extremely deep question. I think this is one of your more contemplative beers. So you're probably just gonna chill out with a couple of good buds or something, and
Drink it while you're on the John.
uh, I don't know. I suppose you could do that. Um, I'm not sure where that came from, but
I don't even
if you're
know
so
either, but you know what?
inclined,
It's kind of awesome all the same.
go with it. Sure. Yeah,
Cool, cool.
helps lubricate things, I suppose. You know.
Don't you guys do your best thinking when you're sitting on the toilet? Like, don't you
uh,
contemplate things?
Um,
I guess like
I think our silence
sort of.
Indicates no.
indicates no, but well,
All
actually,
right.
well,
All right.
Where
Whatever.
it's
I
okay.
guess it's just me then.
Let's roll with this. So, Shane, where is your thinking place?
on my couch when I'm cuddling pugs.
There you go.
So that's
Okay.
generally where I do a lot of thinking. I don't
Yeah.
know. I would think actually when I have to do serious thinking, I tend to uh, if I have like a problem I'm trying to work out. Usually technology is involved when I'm doing that.
Hmm.
Um, but is normally I would say 9 times out of 10 it is either in the shower or playing a video game because I played video games forever, but a lot of them I play them uh, because they take your brain out of a certain way of thinking
Yeah.
and sort of
Yeah.
so I play a game that I know that I'm not going to really care about. Like right now, the game that my go-to game is Rocket League. So it is a game where you are a car flying around a field, trying to score. It's soccer with cars. That's essentially what it is. Um, so, but it's a quick 5 minute round. If you're playing, all the rounds, it's only about 5 minutes of commitment and time, and but that's it. And then it's done, and and you can leave whenever the hell you want, which is the best part. So it's like, oh, I've just solved the problem, or I have something that I'm thinking about that I've just, and but also the other place I said shower. I have a shower, and I find that just bathing for some
Mm.
reason my brain goes, that's the thing you need to do. It's like, oh crap, of course. And then of course you have to get out and dry off and stuff like that. But
You do.
Well, the shower is a perennial favorite. Yep, that works
yeah.
for many,
So I mean
for
that's
sure.
kind of how it might work. So what about your thinking? I mean, Alan, obviously you're on the can a lot. Uh,
Let's ride to the Camelot. Camelot, Camelot, Camelot. It's only a bottle.
Wow,
Continue.
that is something I haven't heard in a
Uh,
while. It's only a mobile. So, but you don't like do that. You're not a person who you know uses the shower. You just use the can and that's it. That's all you do.
I don't use the shower now. No, if I
I
go in
never
the shower,
bathe. I don't ever clean my body. That's
yeah,
why
you know
I'm
what? I go in the
amazing.
shower, but you know what? Here's the thing. I'm a cheap guy, and I hate expensive water bills. So, I go in there, I do what I need to do, and I get out.
That sounds like an action movie. Dun dun dun
It
dun dun.
almost is.
I'm
It
gonna
almost
bathe.
is.
Dun 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 dun. You dive in.
You're in there,
Your,
the
your
soap is
fingers.
flying everywhere. It's like it gets into your eye. You're like, ah,
I'm not dying here, and then you jump out the
not
window
on
and
my watch.
you
I'm
dry
getting
off
too
in the
old for
backyard.
this shit.
I was 5 months from retirement. Oh my god. Hey, good news, by the way. The federal government has said, hey, you remember that thing the previous government did where people under the age of whatever had to retire at 67? Yeah, they put it back to 65. So we're still good for 65 now.
Well, actually, technically, by law, they can't make anybody retire at any age. You can
Well,
continue
no, no,
working
but
until
when you
you're like
start actually collecting
95 if you
whatever
want.
the hell, right? Your
Yeah,
what do they call it? The
old age pension.
old age pension? Yeah. Which I
well, I
don't
think
want to
there are
collect for
certain
a very long
places
time.
you have to
Yes.
retire, though.
Huh?
Are there not certain places that you do still have to retire by 65 or whatever age they
I
happen
don't
to
think they
set?
force.
No.
Well, I mean, companies can force you. It's like you're old, leave. I mean, they can kick you out.
But then you can sue them for on a human rights complaint.
For kicking you out. Well, that's of course they
They
let you
can't
go and
fire
then
you
stab
because
you
you're too
repeatedly.
old.
Why not? I want to get fired because I'm too old. That's the only way I'm going to retire.
That's ageism.
Oh yeah, right on. That's what I'm talking
Hey,
about
one
right
thing I
there.
wanted to ask you guys, and I've been wanting to bring it up for a couple weeks now, and
Okay.
I keep forgetting. So, I would assume that we're all AC/DC fans.
Yep.
Dave?
Sure.
All right.
Yep.
So, okay, so this has been in the news that Brian Johnson, who's been the lead singer of AC/DC since the Back in Black album, which came out in 1980, after Bon Scott died.
Yeah.
And so he's been their lead singer for the past, 40 years or whatever. And
Holy.
I guess he got a thing from his doctor that he's losing his hearing. He says that it's temporary, that he is so their tour. He's not doing their tour anymore, Brian Johnson. Okay, because the AC/DC is in the middle of the tour, and apparently they're bringing in Axl Rose to take his place for the remainder of the tour. Now, Brian Johnson says that he will improve and wants to continue working with AC/DC. But AC/DC is now trying to cut ties with him completely and say, nope, sorry, you're done. The doctor says your hearing condition is permanent. There's no way that you can go back into the studio or tour again. So thanks for everything. Bye. And so right now they've replaced him with Axl Rose for the rest of the tour, and people are kind of wondering if they're going to replace him with Axl Rose on a permanent basis. So, what do you guys think of that?
Well, my first reaction was what? My second reaction after actually reading a little bit about this is I gather that the original crew, as many of them as there can be, for Guns N' Roses are actually going to reunite for a tour, like a reunion tour, and potentially doing another album. And they're basically loaning Axl Rose to come and join AC/DC, and they will eventually use him for an album, I gather. The big thing though is that now my what changed a little bit because I actually heard him. Somebody had done a decent recording at Coachella, which I guess was the past week or something. Um,
A couple weeks ago.
and it was interesting that he sounded almost like Brian Johnson. And I'm not sure if that's because I wanted it to be so, or if he was imitating him. Uh, but they did two AC/DC tracks, um, and if you weren't looking at uh, uh,
Yeah.
him doing it, it sounded just like Brian Johnson. So I don't know if that's just just because I
Well,
wish it to be so.
I think he's kind of an obvious choice just because of the sound similarities. And I'm sure that his voice has gotten a little bit more gravelly over the past 20, 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
That makes him sound even more like Brian Johnson. You need that kind of high-pitched, kind of, squealish voice that both
Yeah.
Bon Scott and Brian Johnson had, or have. And I think Axl Rose fits the bill. But can you think of anybody else that might be a good candidate?
Not off the top of my head because I don't. A lot of the music that I listen to, I've never ever thought of anyone like. There's nobody that I listen to that I think would if you took AC/DC as a band and put them aside and they didn't exist, that you could actually replace them. There's no one that sounds like them. Um, so I don't know. I mean, they've already gone through losing a singer before. I kind of support Johnson not doing it anymore because I mean that would be one thing I would hate to lose is my hearing because I've had it all my life. I wasn't born with I wasn't deaf when I was born, so I would hate it. But considering the industry he's in, I mean, look, I mean, here's the weird thing. The same thing happened to Phil Collins a few years ago. He was told he had to stop touring because he was going to lose his hearing. So you know what he did? He went back and slowly has been re-releasing all of his solo albums and remastering them. So I don't know how that helps his hearing, but I gotta say,
It helps his pocketbook.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not got a damn thing to do with his hearing because he's not the guy mastering.
Well, apparently he's recorded new instruments to fix some stuff he
really?
liked in them. So
Well, okay, so he might be recording
and the new releases actually have the same photographs, they've
George
shot
Lucas
the same
produce
photographs for no they've shot the same photograph. They've copied the original photograph, but him as an older man, right? Him as in how old he is now. So like
Did hand shoot first or
the what? Jesus Christ.
Well, these are like Phil Collins special editions,
So yeah, exactly. Chewie, we're home. God damn it.
Sorry.
It's kind of a cool
I wrecked
idea.
your train of thought.
Okay,
Okay, so
but anyway, back to beer and exciting man talk.
just a second before we move on from AC/DC, I had a thought for somebody who I think might be an interesting replacement for Brian Johnson and his Canadian connection. What about Geddy Lee?
Nope.
No? Why not? Similar sound.
Similar in sound, yes,
no.
but not the same.
Geddy's
not
too
the same at all.
Geddy is way too recognizable. He's too idiosyncratic to be able to pull off AC/DC.
You think?
And you know what? Honestly, I don't think Geddy would even want to be bothered.
No, I'm not saying that he necessarily would. In fact, I'd be really surprised if he did. But
absolutely.
I think just from a sound point of view, I think he would probably fit a little bit better than Axl Rose. Just from a sound point of view.
I think musically, Axl is probably closer to what
musically,
yes,
but I mean, sort of like in a sound quality, just sort of like lyrical singing. I mean, I would say Geddy Lee is way too cerebral for AC/DC, if you get
Yeah,
my meaning.
yeah, that's a given.
Yeah,
We don't even have to mention that.
yeah,
Uh, but I think you don't even have to sweat that detail. I think, he just, like I said, he's too idiosyncratic. He's too recognizable as himself. And I don't think that his vocal style, I don't think would fit in with AC/DC
right.
terribly well.
Okay, interesting. Do you guys think that Rush is done now that Neil Peart has retired?
I don't,
He retired?
honestly, I don't buy that he's going to retire.
You don't?
I think he'll come back. I mean, I remember actually watching that documentary about Rush, and he went through some rough stuff, and I don't know. I mean,
He went some really rough stuff.
he went through such a horrible experience of his wife and child dying within
Hmm.
6 months of each other or something. Um, that, and he came back, and that would have been one of those moments where I would have been, yeah, no, he is done. He's never coming back. He's finished. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. I think that the draw of the drums might bring him back. But again, I don't know. I guess I just it's more that I just don't want him to because I love Rush. So
Yeah.
um,
Well, maybe he'll miss the limelight.
he might
And
miss the lighted stage.
yes,
Um, what would be kind of interesting
and
actually.
he'll leave the subdivisions and come back and I don't know. Now I'm reaching.
Well, actually, what I think would be kind of interesting is uh, if Kiss went on tour again, which I think they're on a tour right now. But them touring with Rush would be kind of cool. Um,
Yeah.
before
I
they are
kind of
really too old for
regret
it.
not seeing Rush live.
Yeah, me too.
I
I
mean,
very
after
much
all the opportunities I had over the years, I never went to go see them, and I should have.
Well, especially since you have all those. I mean, they're like the Grateful Dead. They had people that just followed them around and went to show after show after show. Um,
oh,
and then not even noticing that they were doing anything. So it's kind of sad, but you know, uh,
They were really, really sort of, I mean, as famous as they are, they're really sort of underappreciated, I think.
well, I agree. I totally agree. I mean, I went
well,
to
they've
I
done.
don't know, did we talk about this already? But I went to a concert just what I guess 2 weeks ago. Um, I went and saw a Walk Off the Earth with
Hmm.
Locke actually.
You
Hmm.
what?
Went and saw Walk Off the Earth. They were at
You
the
bitch.
Pacific Coliseum at the Peony, and
I would
but they
love
weren't. But
to
here's the
see
thing: they
those
weren't
guys.
they weren't the headliners. Um, the headliners was a band I'd never heard of until like a few days before, called Mariana's Trench.
What?
Um,
Never heard of
They
them?
were the
I had
headliners.
never heard of them. And then they had some opening act which was forgettable, and I can't remember his name. Something. He was okay. He was okay. Um, but yeah, whatever. Anyway, who cares if he was? So anyway, so the Walk Off the Earth came out. They played for like 45 minutes, and they left. And so it was myself, Locke, and a few other friends were kind of looking at each other, going, "So, Marianas Trench, are we staying for this? Like, I don't know who they are." And they came out, and it was like you could see all the men sitting down, and all of the sort of young 13
The
to
teens.
48 stand up and go berserk. Um, so I watched. I think we stayed for two songs, I think, and then we left. Um, I have no idea who they are, and their music sounded like music I don't listen to, so I walked. Um, so yeah. Have you guys heard of these dudes?
I've heard of them.
Yeah.
I couldn't identify a song for you, but
Yeah,
yeah, I've
they've been
definitely heard
around
of them.
since 2001, I gather. And I guess they've had two songs more recently that have sort of become hits, two or three. Um, Although the one thing I did learn reading about them after like a couple days later, um, the lead singer also writes music for other Canadian artists, or I guess other artists in general. And he co-wrote the Call Me Maybe" song that from Carly Rae, what's her name?
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Jepsen. So there's definitely talent there because that song, who didn't know that song for a while? Um, but I mean, really, I mean, I just didn't. They, from the stuff that I heard, I wasn't. I don't think I'd be an easy fan were I to become one. But again, I'm obviously not their audience because I don't have I don't I'm not a girl.
You know what? At your age, you're nobody's audience.
Yeah, this is true. Fuck off. Um, Pink
Anyways,
Seriously.
so the more
Pink
important
Floyd will never
question is
die.
how
Um,
how was Walk Off the Earth? So I imagine them being
um,
just fucking
they
mind
were
blowing.
decent. They were not.
Yeah,
I
those guys.
unfortunately didn't see. Locke and Allison went and saw them last year at the Orpheum Theater, the Vogue Theater in downtown Vancouver, and that was just them with a small opening act. Um, I missed that show because of whatever the hell reason. I've forgotten. I had something really other important things to do, so I went off and did those. Um, so Locke, who is a very hard audience because he likes a wide variety of music, but he really loves certain ones. Um,
Hmm.
like he went and saw Iron Maiden. I couldn't get tickets myself, but he went and saw Iron Maiden a couple days later, so like the last weekend or whatever. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I think that he's he just loves certain genres and certain bands. Um, actually, speaking of music, here's another band I've been listening to quite a bit lately. Dance with the Dead. Is that what they're called? Um, Dance with the Dead. I think it's Dance with the Dead.
Hmm.
Yeah, Dance with the Dead. Now, Dance with the Dead has been around for not a whole lot of time, but they are great music to work to because they're not hardcore sort of trance music. They're not dance music. They're kind of a light version in between. Um, so they've got in like 4 years they've released like 10 albums, um,
Holy.
and it's really great to work to. There's no lyrics. It's just beat and insert whatever else, and it's very catchy. I'm surprised that I actually enjoyed it. So a shout out to Dance with the Dead.
So let's check them out.
They um they are on Google Music, which by the way, Google Music just released their podcast stuff, where you can subscribe to podcasts and also um, add your podcast into their library. So I'm toying with the idea of doing that for this particular show,
Oh, that'd be cool.
because I might go back now that I have actually, because this is. Let me tell you what my Saturday this past weekend was. 8 hours of making new thumbnails for all the episodes that we hadn't made thumbnails for.
Oh.
And adding, not all of them, I haven't done them all yet, but most of them have text now. But all of our episodes are now represented on our Crafty Boys channel. So if you want to subscribe, by all means, the
I tip my
buttons
hat
are
to you, sir.
everywhere, down here, over there, up there. So you can subscribe to our Brilliance of Beerness, where you'll learn all you can ever understand for the capability of any human brain about international beer units. Anyway, that's just a minor little note for people listening. But yeah, I'm going to start ripping the audio tracks and actually putting those onto the thing. So,
Cool.
and not to mention, Dave and Locke have been working on a theme song, so hopefully they'll be done with that at some point, so we can actually throw that in front of
Yay,
our podcast.
production values.
So, yeah, we've been doing this just over a year now, and we're finally getting our shit together.
At least we got audience. Hey, we got people following us on Twitter now.
Cool. Who? Anybody we know?
Well,
Who are
we've
you
got
people?
some breweries.
Why are you here?
The most recent one is Liquor Express.
Yeah, we better follow those dudes because it's only
I think we are.
Born Thirsty, Urban Tap House, Fake Granville Beer, Protect Real Craft Beer. Commentary on fake craft beer is Molson Coors Macro Brew, low quality ingredients, high gravity brews. Bunch of wieners. Some crazy person named Erin Ford. Don't know who the hell she is. I should follow her back. Some idiot called Shane. Firehall Brewery. Don't know who they are. That's Oliver, BC. Right on. So yeah, we've got a ton of followers in here that we really. Earthquakes Canada's following us. Who knows?
For those times that you fart.
Apparently, ha! You're fun. So yeah, I mean, we've got tons of cool people following us, and as I'm saying this, I'm actually following them all the way back here. Oh, we just got age screened for trying to follow Rogue. Really? Wow.
We got what?
Interesting. I guess. Wow. Interesting. Okay, so when were we born? 19 November 5th, 1955. Done.
Yeah.
So, Portland Beer, Canoe Beer Club, the Great Canadian Beer Fest, Kelowna Beer Guy, Salt Spring Island Ales, who spelled their Salt Spring Island wrong. Postmark Brewing, Off the Rails, Strange Fellows. And a big sad announcement in Vancouver last week, the week before, the closure of the Railway Club here in town, which had been open for like 500 years, went out of business. So, adding this in, following, holy cow! Look at all these breweries that are following us. It's kind of awesome.
I know. There's tons.
We better follow them back because otherwise we're jerks. So yeah, there's definitely some stuff that we can do better. This is becoming like a completely an episode about all the things that are boring to talk about.
We're doing wrong.
Podcast. We're doing everything wrong now. So yeah. Anyway, thank you to all the breweries who followed us. We try to cover all your beers, but as you may have ever listened for about 2 seconds, you'll know that we have trouble getting them. Just because. So anyway, what other cool man talk are we going to talk about? I'm going to shut up. You guys talk.
Well, I kind of talked about everything I wanted to talk about. I think I'm done.
Okay, Dave, anything you want to talk about before we move on?
Well, yeah, it's maybe not totally happy stuff, but I don't know if you guys have heard, but
Oh, you're
Prince,
going to bring this up. Oh, man. Don't bring us down, but please do anyway. We lost
passed away
somebody
today.
today. Somebody
Yes.
who is talented.
God.
very talented. And that's not to say that I'm a Monster fan, because I'm not.
Yeah, you know what? I
Prince is
never really understood the draw of Prince. Okay, here it is. I never really liked Prince's music, but I did admire his want to not play the Hollywood or corporate game.
Yeah.
To always try to go against the grain. I really admired that about him, even though I didn't like his music or his style of music. It
Hey,
just
man.
wasn't my thing.
What have you got against Bat Dance?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bat Dance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bat Dance.
I would say I'm kind of the same with him, because I was never a big fan of Prince, but I really appreciate the the man's musical ability. He was
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
Well, you know what
Like you
I
said,
did
he
to actually
never
mark his
sweated,
passing
really.
today?
You know.
I marked his passing today with the by watching that Kevin Smith story about where he was shooting a documentary for Prince. Have you guys heard this story?
No.
I think
Okay,
I've
well,
heard of
I cannot. It is on YouTube. It's one of his evenings with Kevin Smith. I think the first one. Um, but in a nutshell, he got a phone call from Prince, from his manager and stuff, and they wanted him to shoot a documentary about Prince at Prince's house in Minnesota, and he wanted to basically create a video of him talking about God for his latest album at the time, which is this is going back obviously quite some time, so 2000-ish, um, because uh, mainly because Kevin Smith wrote and directed and produced the film Dogma, and that was the common thread between him and Prince. So anyway, it was a frustrating ordeal. I recommend you go and listen to his little story. It's all over YouTube. If you just do Kevin Smith Prince story, you'll find it. I will not be able to do it justice because Kevin Smith, I aspire to be someone who can be as verbose and hilarious as he can be. So,
it.
but
He's a good storyteller, isn't he?
yeah, no, he's very good at it. He's worked really hard to become a really a master storyteller. So, but anyway, a very strange story. And but I liked Prince. I liked a lot of his music. I didn't like. I also hated a bunch of his music because I thought he kind of went through phases, um, with like any artist does. But some of the phases just didn't jive with me. So but I have to give him the benefit of the guy worked really hard.
Yeah.
He was somebody who, well, you could actually, if you look up any of his obituary information or people reflecting about Prince's life, that was that's the common thread is that he was his own type of guy, and he was able to almost not intentionally, but he would shame people into being, why are you not doing this? Because I'm going to go do it right now, and I'll be done by the end of the day. Why are you? Um,
Hmm.
and it was actually Kevin Smith describes it this way, where Kevin was having issues, I gather, trying to deal with Prince because Prince was his Prince, and he the manager described Prince in this manner, and this is part of the story, so I'll probably mess it up, so you can go watch him tell it better. But he basically said that Prince doesn't process information the same way as normal people. Um, and the example that was given is, at 3 o'clock in the morning, Prince walked in and said, "I would like a camel uh, right now." And they're like, "Prince, it's 3 in the morning. We're in Minnesota. It's winter. There is no way you're going to get a camel." And apparently, the prince just didn't understand. He's like, "Well, what do you mean I can't have a camel right now? I need a camel." "Prince, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. It is the middle of winter, and you're not going to get a camel right now. Sorry, it's not going to happen." So there you go.
So he just didn't process information properly,
Well,
or he just was out of touch with reality.
I honestly, I think he was just out of touch with reality in a certain way.
That's what it sounds like.
However, not to defend people asking for camels at 3 o'clock in the morning in the middle of December, um, in North America, all I can really say is that I think that if you reach a level of success like that and you are an artist, I think you could lose touch very easily because you don't need anything. You have been successful at what you love doing. Um, so I think if you are coddled a little bit, I would think he would probably be somebody that might be coddled, since he was so short and wore high heels all the time. Which is part of that story, by the way, because he complained about his back hurting, and Kevin said something like, "Is it because you're wearing heels all the time? Maybe you want to wear some sneakers." But whatever. Again, go watch it because it's hilarious. So anyway,
all right.
We lost Prince, but somebody else actually died today. I've just
Somebody's
forgotten who.
uncle or something.
Crap, I can't think. Somebody else passed away, and I can't think of who it was.
Lots of people pass away every day.
I know. Probably actually, this is a very Canadian tidbit, by the way. Carla Homolka.
Ugh.
Just to switch gears drastically. Now, the reason I bring her up is not because of who she is, but I was a little annoyed with an article that I briefly read today that basically states, is Carla Homolka actually, does she deserve to live in peace?
No, she doesn't, but that's the deal that she worked out with the prosecutors at the time, and they accepted it.
But why does she not deserve to live in quiet solitude? She spent 12 years in jail. She paid her dime to the state. So, just because we think it wasn't long enough,
I'm just the deal that she worked out with the DA.
Yeah, but she still spent a lot of time in jail. So, who are we to tell her that she should have spent more? That's all I'm saying.
Well, I think what it is when they worked out the deal, they were thinking that Paul Bernardo was the mastermind behind the whole thing, and that he was sort of like the big fish, and that Carla Homolka was just following him. After the trial, after they had already worked out this thing, I think they kind of realized that it was the other way around, that Carla Homolka was the big fish, and Paul Bernardo was just following her around.
True, and by the way, I'm just going to send a shout out to... I'm actually going through our followers list at the same time on Twitter. I'm giving a shout out to CBC Vancouver.
Cool.
Love you guys, and I'm glad you got a lot more money coming your way. I had no idea.
Time.
Oh, and then I just noticed the Vancouver PD is following us.
Uh-oh. Watch what we're saying.
Then suddenly the camera just goes boom. I gotta give it up to the Vancouver Police Department. Thank you so much. But anyway, yeah, back to I don't want to spend any more time talking about Homolka because I just found it kind of... I'm on an anti-internet mob mentality streak of late.
Good.
And I have been for a while because
totally.
One of the things that and this is completely a story that's not Canadian. It's not anything. It's just a woman recently documented an ex-boyfriend and how he raped her. According to the post, which was on Tumblr, it was the first time she had revealed to anybody this had occurred. And I want to be sensitive to these kinds of things, but at the same time, I have a very strong opinion about how the internet is not meant for those kinds of reveals. And in fairness, a bunch of other of this guy's ex-girlfriends have come forward saying, "No, he didn't do that to me. It sucks. It sounds like he did it to you, but we dated him for longer, and he never did anything of the sort." So, anyway, I don't like the internet having become a place to basically smear people whether it's as serious accusation like rape, or whether it's like a restaurant that dropped forks on the floor in front of you or something and then put them on your table. It's not a mature enough platform for those kinds of things. Whether it will be, I don't know, because uh, it turns into um, mob mentality sort of behavior, which then leaks into traditional media and things like that, like the CBC. And the reason I'm thinking about this is the whole Mike Duffy thing. In Canada, Mike Duffy acquitted today of all charges, and the PMO being told that they screwed him.
Oh, jeez.
Again, Mike Duffy was dragged through the mud in the media, but especially online. Um, I think that's hard for anybody, whoever you are, whether you are being accused of a terrible crime or you took 90 grand from the wrong people. Um, the internet doesn't play nice. The internet is very much a machine to create all kinds of falsehoods and all kinds of ridiculousness that stems from very little information. So, I don't know. That's
I
just
think
me.
you've just hit the nail on the head there, though. No context theater.
Actually, that's it. The internet is now called no context theater. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like it because it has become so ravenous that a long time ago, for example, I wrote a blog post, two blog posts that were very popular on my website, and the first one was basically myself documenting my experience with CIBC many years ago when I had an account there. Um, which went from them putting money into the wrong accounts to me being penalized for paying uh, a bill at a branch at 2 in the afternoon, or no, sorry, it's 4 in the afternoon before they close, thinking I was fine. However, had to pay a penalty fee because I was late. I'm like, what are you talking about? I paid it on time. I paid the day I was supposed to. I don't understand what's going on. Well, we process all of our stuff back east, so you were here at 4 o'clock, but really back there it was. I'm like, what? I beg your pardon? I'm being penalized because I'm not in the right time zone? Um, and I did the same thing to Staples, the store. And both of the posts were CIBC sucks and Staples sucks. Um, and it got a lot of traffic for quite a few years. But the comment thread, both posts, the comment threads that I had were very long, where a lot of people for 2 or 3 pages worth of scrolling were talking about what I had written or what their experiences were. But eventually, both threads became fighting between Christians and Muslims. I don't know how. Somebody eventually made fun of Allah, and then suddenly it was, your God's going to die, and then it just became fighting, which is actually a reason I turned off all my comments on my website. And then I took those posts down because I just was like, I can't deal with this. It's just so stupid. Because eventually I would get an email of somebody saying, they said something really mean to me. And I'm like, then don't say anything to them? I don't know. You're an adult. Grow up. So, I don't know. It's just a very strange experience. And it's gotten worse and worse and worse to the point where, actually speaking of the CBC is no longer allowing anonymous posting. If they cannot verify who you are, then you're not allowed to post there, which, of course, people are like, oh, free speech. I'm like, yeah, free speech is one thing, but hate speech as an anonymous person is not. Because the thing they're trying to battle on on CBC's website is anti-women commentary and anti-Aboriginal commentary.
Just anti-anything.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it branches to everything else, right? But still, and the same thing, I mean, YouTube has the same problem, and
Everything
specifically.
has the same problem.
So it gets to the point where discourse and debate just disappears, and it just becomes, fuck you, you're a cock,
Name
I hate
calling.
you, suck a dick,
Yes.
eat a bag of dicks, So,
All right.
but then it gets even worse. So anyway, I'm gonna shut up because that's really depressing, and thanks a lot for bringing that up, Dave.
Yeah. Good job, Dave.
I
So I think we're probably about out of time, aren't we?
Yeah, we're actually almost overtime now. So
Yeah. Any beers we had are gone. So,
West Coast IPA, very good. I still have a bit left, but I'm supposed to save it for Allison. But you know what? She's not getting this pour.
screw her.
Dave, when people are looking for you when they're not looking at the Crafty Boys, where are they looking for you online again?
Well, I would be shocked if they were.
Dave, you're
Me
cute,
too.
adorable, and single. And I will
I
point
suppose.
by curious. So yeah. Suddenly, your inbox gets
Okay,
flooded
then.
with all these lonely men. Dave
Uh,
subscribes to Grinder.
Grinder, but he hardly even knows her.
I'm not even gonna ask what Grinder is, but if
Grinder
somebody
is
happened,
a hookup app for gay men.
oh, I see. Okay.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Nope. If you need a blowjob,
Nope. It's all good.
Grinder's your hit. Sorry, Dave. I keep interrupting about your blowjob, so continue.
Dave, they can find you on Twitter.
Yes, they
At the
can
Fool,
if they're so inclined.
H-U-L-E.
Yes. There it is.
Dave is awesome. I suggest you follow him on Twitter because he doesn't ever use it, so you're not going to get any more spam otherwise. Alan, what about you, sir?
Well, I'm on the Twitters as well. The best way to actually reach me is with the Crafty Boys Twitter account. But if you want to reach me personally and send me, like a picture of your boobs or something, preferably female boobs, you can do it at Alan M. Ford. Shane one time sent me a picture of his boobs. That wasn't pleasant. I had to call in sick. I'm still receiving for it. Oh, and before I stop, the Bad Tattoo full sleeve is very good. I recommend it. It's a good beer. Go get it. Go get it. Get it. Get it. Get it. Get it. Get it.
I recommend it. I recommend the Bad Tattoo as well. This has been quite a nice one. So, by the way, Alan, I'm sending you a picture of my boobs right now.
Again? All right. Shane, if anybody wants to find you, God knows why they would, but if anybody does, where can they find you?
Well, I'm so glad you asked, Alan, because people can find me at the Crafty Boys, at Shane B, or at your local bookstore.
Yes.
Yeah. My books. I got a tweet a couple days ago from a random bookstore in Leeds, England, called the crap. What are they called again?
A bookstore.
It's a bookstore in Leeds called. Hang on, I actually written it down. Philip Howard Books Limited, Guardians of Knowledge, which is the best tagline I've ever heard for a bookstore.
Very cool.
But anyway, so they tweeted out that they had just received their very first package of box of books that have mine in it. So I was very happy about that. So I tweeted them back and said, they're awesome. which they are.
I don't want to. I don't want to continue this podcast much longer. But since you're now like a published
Because we
author,
want to. We're done after today. Do you hear me? We're finished.
do you actually get like a box of books delivered to your house, and it's like, you know, like some guy comes and goes, oh, Mr. Burley, your book has arrived, and they open it up and it's like, if you set your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. Does that actually happen?
All the time. All the time. Absolutely. Never a missed day where I'm not at least getting a request for a picture or photograph or picture of my boobs. Alan, check your Twitter account. Boobs have arrived. So anyway, of course, you can find us at the Crafty Boys and subscribe to our blog, subscribe to our video podcast, our live stream. Come visit us at the live stream. We've actually had one visitor today, which is probably my sister. But we do have a chat window and all kinds of fun stuff. You can talk to us, ask questions live, and all kinds of cool things. But enough for now. We'll see you all next week for episode. Oh wow, what's in this beer? Episode 56.
All right.